Welcome to another day of After Hours here with me, Valdes, and Wolf, no knees, but needs more knees, Schroeder. So glad to be here with you. We're going to go over the matchups for round number 5, which is, we're halfway through here. It's getting pretty heated, especially after the games tonight. They were very, very close.
Yeah, some upsets tonight for sure, and I hope that continues, but every map really counts now for SSL because when the scores get really close, your map score is actually what will push you into playoffs.
Guys, we're going to take a look at the first matchup. Is going to be Innovation versus Maru. And Innovation, he's coming off a couple of losses, one against Dark and one against Deer, so against a couple of different races, and now he's got to face the third one, his mirror matchup in Maru. And Maru's looking pretty good, so what are you feeling about this one?
I actually have to give it to Innovation still because I think the matches that Innovation lost, sure he lost to Dark. Deer looked very prepared. It's not fair to say that Innovation is dropping in form. I think that Dark, of course, destroyed him with that 2-1. Even though it was a 2-1, he looked very dominant there, but Dark it's his best matchup, right? Deer's improving a lot. He looks a lot better in the PBT matchup these days. And also Maru lost to Jakji in the GSL in the same matchup, ended up falling out of his group in the losers match there, so I got to give the edge to Innovation.
Yeah, I think for this match, Innovation still, he's had a couple of rough games, but this guy, he's definitely in some of his best form that he's ever been in, whereas I think Maru, even though he defeated Hero, he still has a lot more to prove coming in here. I mean, Innovation is still coming off of that big win in SSL Premier Season 1, so in terms of current form, I'll have to go with Innovation. The TVT matchup is kind of close. I think both of these guys are pretty decent in it. None of them are like outstanding or anything like that, but if it had to come down to it, I would give it to Innovation. For matchup number 2, it is going to be Deer versus ByuL, a PVZ. What are you thinking about this, Wolf?
Well, Deer is just looking better and better every week. Sure, he fell out of the GSL, but in SSL, he looks stronger and stronger every time. His win over Innovation with really good strategies, really good multitasking is what leads me to believe he should be able to take this series. ByuL, sure, he basically almost got the upset win over Dark this week, but I just feel like he's not the same ByuL we saw last season. And in this matchup, the Deers looked very strong throughout his career, and with how much improvements he's made to his preparation, how much practice he's doing, everyone's saying he's practicing on the ladder more than anybody else right now. I think he's probably going to take it 2-0.
Yeah, this one is an easy one for me. I mean, ByuL is sitting at 0-4. He's not looking good. It's obvious that his form has gone down like this. We don't know if it's a slump, the S word, but he's definitely not looking like Premier Season 1. Whereas Deer, I mean, he's turning into a totally different player. He came out of challenge, came out here, is doing extremely well. He's 3-1. He defeated Innovation, had a small, blunder against Classic where he did go down 0-2. But again, it's PvP. It's a hard matchup. It's Classic's one of his better matchups. So for me, I think this doesn't really require any more further explaining. I think I'm going to go with the 2-0 for Deer for this matchup. So, for matchup number 3, it is going to be Hero versus Alive, a PVT. I'll take the prediction first this time, if you don't mind, Wolf. I'm going to go with Hero on this. Again, not a super hard one. Alive, he did take the win over Solar, but Solar was not looking good today, let's be honest. He did not have a couple of great games against Alive, and Alive was actually looking better than he has been, and he's saying, like, oh, I'm really trying to practice for SSL. I need to win these games. He's really focusing on SSL nowadays. So, he's looking better, but I still think he needs to prove a little bit more. Hero, he took a rough loss against Maru, but Maru was looking good too. So, again, today was a crazy day. Kind of gets your thoughts all mixed up, but still going for Hero with this.
I feel like you can make an argument for Alive too, though. He looked really strong today. His, I guess, more conservative play when he's attacking really shone through, not overextending, but of course that was in the TVZ matchup, so you can't necessarily translate that into TVP. And right now, Protoss is dominating that matchup with the Oracle play we're seeing. Adepts are very strong. There's so many different options for Protoss right now, and Hero is the guy who basically made the Adept Phoenix style work. His Phoenix play is probably going to shut down the aggression that Alive brings, so I think it'll be a Hero win, but I want to say probably 2-1. I think Alive should be able to take a game in the series.
Yeah, I'll agree with the 2-1 as well. So let's make it a 2-1 for Hero against Alive. Okay, so jumping into set number 4, it is going to be Solar versus Classic, a ZVP for this one. What are you thinking about this? This is definitely one of the closer matchups of the night.
This is definitely the hardest one to predict, I feel like, out of all the ones that we have for next week. And for me, I think that Solar definitely will take it, but it's going to be a close series, maybe a 2-1. I feel like Solar has really tightened up his play in the matchup. He's always most famous for his ZVP play, but his defenses of the third base, his Hydralisk Baneling play, those are the things that he's used to shut down third bases of Protosses before. And even in his match tonight, it looked like he was playing ZVP when he was playing the ZVT. So I think he's definitely working on that mindset right now with the Hydra Baneling, the Baneling drops and things like that. So I think he's going to take it 2-1 probably.
This is so close for me too. I was thinking Solar at first, you know, it seems obvious the ZVP, but I really like Classic's PVZ actually nowadays. It's very passive as he is nowadays. He's almost like going into his old ex-teammate Rain, his kind of play style where it's just like, I'm going to stay back, we're macroing up, and we're not going to do anything else. He loves to get at third base, hold it, get Archons, Immortals, that kind of big Protoss death ball against Zerg, get Storm, and just hold and just wait. And I feel like he's kind of like the more stable older brother against Solar's like the younger brother trying to poke fun and like being really aggressive and all this stuff. It's so close that I would need to look at the map list to give like a legitimate prediction right now. But if I had to put it down to this one, it's definitely going to be a 2-1, and I'll go with Classic for this one. So for our last matchup of the night, this definitely is going to be the hardest one to call for me. I mean, we actually had to stop filming to think about this one for like a good 5 minutes to think about who's going to win. It's going to be Dark versus Stats. I feel like both of these guys recently, very similar form. They're obviously in the upper echelon of SSL Premier, like top 5. They're, I think, the same rating right now. I think they're both at 3-1, and they're very, very similar in terms of skill. So I'll let you go first on this one.
I think when you look at how Dark played against ByuL today, it feels like there was definitely some slipping in terms of preparation. Didn't look like he prepared as hard for the matchup against ByuL as ByuL prepared against him. And he ended up winning the series because he was able to play better on the fly, especially if you go back and look at that third game where he defended the Ravager attack, or sorry, the Roach attack that was coming in with the Ravagers. I think that's the best example of this kind of on-the-fly thinking. And Stats, in terms of preparation, looked way better in the PvP matchup to start things off. Played against that passive style of Classic, played more passively, had the better decision making. So when you look at today's results going into next week, I think we're seeing much better preparation here out of our Protoss here. And so I have to give the edge to Stats, to be honest.
Yeah, it was extremely close for me. In the end, I was thinking Dark. I think his series in ZVZ isn't really indicative of what he's going to be playing in ZVP. I think that he definitely brings in a very different style in ZVP up against Stats. And just in terms of Stats, like he played up against his teammates in Solar, and he was just barely able to win that, even though Solar, you know, really good in the matchup. But Dark, I think it's just like a feeling, you know, it's just a feeling.
It's just a feeling, just a feeling, just a feeling that I have, just a feeling.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Dark hype. Maybe it's because I'm biased. I mean, everybody knows that he's one of my favorite players in all of Korea and all of the world for StarCraft 2. But I'm not really sure where the feeling is coming from. I think it's extremely close once again, but I'll say 2-1 for Dark for this prediction. Okay, so that's going to be it for our predictions here. Thank you once again for watching After Hours. Tons of really hard predictions, and I hope we get a lot of really fun and close games as we did this week in week 4 for next week as well. So make sure to join us. It's going to be on July 31st for week 5. Again, it's going to be at 7 p.m. We'll see you there.